Hello students, this is Kanupriya, PGT Geography, and here I am once again with my next video on the very next chapter, which is chapter 4 of book India, People and Economy. So let's start with this chapter. Chapter 4, Human Settlements. This is the chapter 4 of book India, People and Economy. So let's start this chapter. The first topic of this chapter is Introduction to Human Settlements. Human settlement means cluster of dwellings of any type or any shape or size where human beings live. For the living purpose, human beings erect their houses and occupy a certain area and territory for their economic activities. Human settlement can range from a small hamlet to a large metropolitan city. But with size of the human settlement, the economic character, social structure of settlements, they all changes, and along with it, ecology and technology both changes. Settlement could be sparsely populated or sparsely spaced, or it may be large or closely spaced. The sparsely located small settlements are called as villages, which specializes in agriculture or primary activities. On the other hand, we have fewer but larger settlements, which are termed as urban settlements and who specializes in secondary and tertiary activities. So we can conclude that human settlement means the cluster of dwellings of any type or any size where human beings live. And for their living purpose, they erect their houses, they occupy a certain area in which they perform a certain economic activity depending upon the size of the settlement. If it is small and sparsely spaced, then people will be dependent upon primary activities, and if it is large and it is dense, then people must be involved in secondary and tertiary activities. So this is all about human settlements. We have two types of settlements, rural settlement and urban settlement. We can show the difference between rural settlements and urban settlements. The basic differences between rural and urban settlements are as follows. The rural settlements derive their life support or basic economic needs from land-based primary economic activities, whereas urban settlements depends on processing of raw materials and manufacturing of finished goods on one hand and a variety of services on the other. So the main and the first difference between rural and urban settlement is that rural settlements are dependent upon primary activities or agriculture. But in urban settlement, people are dependent upon secondary and tertiary activities, which includes processing of raw materials and finished products and manufacturing of finished products, and including tertiary activities, which includes the service sector, that is providing services to the people, which includes launderers, barbers, shopkeepers, etc. The second difference between rural and urban settlement is as follows. Cities acts as nodes of economic growth, provides goods and services not only to urban dwellers but also to the people of the rural settlements in their hinterlands in return for food and raw materials. So here we can see that rural and urban settlement, they both are interrelated to each other. One is providing the goods and services to the rural settlements. On the other hand, rural settlement is providing the food and raw material so that the finished good could be produced. So this functional relationship between the urban and rural settlements takes place through transport and communication network. So we cannot differentiate totally rural settlement from urban settlement, but in fact these two settlements are interrelated to each other in terms of their functions. Urban settlement, the main function of urban settlement is to provide the finished goods as well as services to the people residing in the rural settlements, in return for the food and the raw materials which is provided by the rural settlements. So this is basically the functional relationship between rural and urban settlements. The third difference between rural and urban settlement is that they differ in terms of social relationship, attitude and outlook. Rural people are less mobile, that means they move less, and therefore social relations among them are intimate. In urban areas, on the other hand, way of life is complex and fast and social relations are formal. So here is the third difference between rural and urban settlement. It includes rural people whose relationships are very much informal and intimate. But in urban areas, we all know that the life is very complex and moreover the relationship between the people are very much formal. So these are the basic differences between rural and urban settlement. I am again repeating, rural settlements are dependent upon primary activities, primary economic activities. In urban settlement, people are dependent upon secondary and tertiary activities. Second difference is, in rural settlement, people provide raw materials and food, and in return urban settlement provides the finished goods and services to the people of rural areas. So there is a close functional relationship between rural settlements and urban settlements. And the third difference is that rural settlements includes people who have very intimate relationship with each other, while in urban settlement the relationships are very much formal. Now comes the next topic, which is types of rural settlement. Types of any settlement is determined by the extent of the built-up area and inter-house distance. In India, compact or clustered village of a few hundred houses is a rather universal feature, particularly in the northern plains. However, there are several areas which have other forms of rural settlements. There are various factors and conditions which are responsible for having different types of rural settlements in India. These includes physical features like nature of terrain, altitude, climate, availability of water. It includes cultural and ethnic factors which include social structure, caste and religion. And we have security factors also, which includes defense against thefts and robberies. So basically, rural settlements are classified into various types depending upon the build-up area and inter-house distance. So basically, any kind of settlement is determined by a number of factors. It includes the physical factors, it includes cultural factors, it includes security factors also. So depending upon that, rural settlement has been classified into various types. Rural settlement in India can broadly be put into four types. We have clustered or agglomerated or nucleated settlement. Second one, semi-clustered or fragmented rural settlement. Third one is hamleted rural settlement. And fourth one is dispersed or isolated rural settlement. So let's discuss them one by one. What are these types of rural settlements? First one is clustered or agglomerated or nucleated settlements. The clustered rural settlement is a compact or closely built up area of houses. In this type of village, the general living area is distinct and it is separated from the surrounding farms, barns and pastures. So what is this clustered rural settlement? In clustered rural settlement, the houses that are built up are very close to each other. They live in a particular area. Their living area is distinct from its surrounding farm areas. The closely built up area and its intervening streets present some recognizable pattern or geometric shape such as rectangular, radial, linear, etc. As we all know, in villages, we have number of streets which connect number of houses in that particular village. So these intervening streets present some recognizable pattern in the form of a geometric shape such as rectangular shape, radial shape or linear shape. Such settlements are generally found in fertile alluvial plains, and in the northeastern states. Sometimes people live in compact village for security or defense reasons, such as in the Bundelkhand region of central India and in Nagaland. So in Bundelkhand region and Nagaland region, people developed their houses close to each other or built up their houses close to each other for the defense reasons. While on the other hand, we have Rajasthan, where scarcity of water has necessitated compact settlement for maximum utilization of available water resources. So those people build their houses close to each other so that they can use the available water resources in that particular area because of the scarcity of water. Second one is semi-clustered rural settlements or fragmented rural settlements. So semi-clustered rural settlements may result from tendency of clustering in a restricted area of dispersed settlement. More often, such a pattern may also result from segregation or fragmentation of a large compact village. In this case, one or more sections of the village society choose or is forced to live a little away from the main cluster or village. In such cases, generally, the land owning and the dominant community occupies the central part of the main village, whereas the people of lower strata of society and menial works settle on the outer flanks of the village. Such settlements are widespread in the Gujarat plain and some parts of Rajasthan. So what is this semi-clustered rural settlement? Basically, in these type of settlements, the land owning and the dominant communities occupy the central part of the village. That is the main part of the village, and the people with lower strata in the society and those who do small work are forced to live outside the village, that is outer flanks of that particular village, leading to the development of semi-clustered rural settlement. Such settlements are widespread in the Gujarat plain and some parts of Rajasthan. So this is all for today. If you have any doubt, please come up with your doubts, and rest will cover in the next part of my video. Thank you.